Please join me in our opening meditation song on page 28. We are one.
We are one with each other as we share the love of the Christ within. We now open our hearts and our minds to receive. We are open, ready, willing, accepting, receiving our breakthrough.
And so as we take a few moments to unify with that beautiful inner one, that beautiful inner Christ, that I am self. And with this beautiful day, we become one, and with each other. And on this beautiful day, we give thanks to the wonderful Father, Mother, God, who has brought us to this place, and who helps us to share with each other this wonderful day. And so it is. Thank you, wonderful God. Taking in a nice deep breath, breathing in and out, and coming awake and ready to continue our day. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Mary Ann Kelley, one of the ministers here at the Teaching of the Inner Christ, and I welcome each one of you to the Teaching of the Inner Christ. If you don't know what it is an interdenominational, non-denominational teaching that shows, and each person who so chooses, to how to connect with that inner one, that inner Christ, that inner I am self, and to share the love and the knowledge that comes from that. And we do this through various ways. We have classes, we have services such as this one, we have faith lifts on Wednesday evenings, and other workshops and joy shops and fun things that go on. So we welcome you to stick around, speak with some of our ministers here if you need some more information or if you'd like to know more things. We welcome you. Now, do we have any prayer demonstrations this week that anyone would like to share? Yes, Nancy. Nancy
Yeah.
Glaser.
They were praying for a while. I've had a lot of tests done, and I just really wanted a seeming diagnosis, and I finally got one. It took a while, but it's kind of a relief because it's something that was going on for over 20 years. So I'm getting some relief with that. Yeah.
Okay.
And Spirit brought me when I was in Arizona last time. I have this phone that I never pick up because it's telemarketers, but I always call out of. And this guy sold me the car last time, and he said, we have another car for you. So I traded in this car, and he got me a really good deal because 6 cylinders are really hard to find in Toyotas. So I'm getting there with the help. Yeah.
Oh, good.
So I'm seeing the demonstrations.
Good.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you, wonderful God. Are there any others?
Yeah.
Yes, Sarah Z.
So about a year ago, I asked for prayers for my kitty cat,
Your kitty cat.
who was in a bad position. And she appears to be old.
Mhm.
She appears to be about 19. And not only did she get better, but she continues to get better. So like this week, now she's jumping up on things, you know, like she used to do when she was a kitten. And I just experienced her getting better and seemingly younger as the year goes on. And I
Wow.
thank
How
God.
wonderful, how wonderful. Oh, they're just a joy in our lives, our pets, our kittens, and our dogs. Well, in your package, you'll find a little form like this. And it's a treatment request form, or it's a treatment form. And all you have to do is, if you have some prayer that you would like to have done, you can write it down on here. You can write out your own prayer treatment on there if you want to. Or if you'd like our prayer circle to pray with you and for you on any item that you might have, we have a prayer box in the rear of the room. All you need to do is slide it in there, and we'll be happy to do that. The prayer circle will pray on that for 2 weeks, and they meet every Wednesday. So if you want to do that, that would be great. And then your job would then be to let us know how it demonstrates. And if you'd like to have us continue, if it hasn't quite demonstrated after 2 weeks, let us know. And that helps build our prayer power also. So there you go. A little later on in the service, we'll do a prayer for each one of these. So hang in there with us. We have a fun thing to do now. We get to sing. And we get to sing On a Clear Day on page 51 in our books. And if you'd like to stand, we'll all sing. And Ann will lead us with this. Now we have some events coming up in August. And today, if you have had inner sensitivity, you are invited to join in the Love Power Circle after the service. And after we have a little break after, we'll have a little snack and a little cup of coffee or something. And then the Love Power Circle for graduates of inner sensitivity. And on the 9th, there is an LBR IBA meeting at 12:15 after the service. And if you have something that you would like to bring before the boards, Judy Holmes is our, would you like to stand, Judy? Judy Holmes is our representative, and so if you have some suggestions for TIC, some things you'd like to see changed, or things you'd like to see added, or anything at all that's that you're thinking about, go see Judy, and she'll bring it before the board, and we'll chit-chat about it. And then on the 23rd, we have a potluck. We like to eat. We love to eat. So we have a potluck, and so I invite you to fill a pot, bring it in, and we'll all share. And that'll be on the 23rd. And on the 30th of this month, we have what we call a Bring a Friend Sunday. And that's also a birthday Sunday, so that day we get cake and ice cream. Well, cake anyway. We don't know about the ice cream. Well, we get cake. So we have a class coming up in September on the 15th. It'll be starting September 15th at 6:30 p.m. That's Tuesday evenings, and it'll be our Love Scriptures class. And that is a study in our, what we lovingly call our pink books. These are our love scriptures, and these are channeled messages from the present Jesus, a group of sensitives. And so we invite you to consider that and come on in. It's really a powerful class. Also, on the 19th of September, on the internet, we have an inner sensitivity class beginning at 9 o'clock in the morning. So if you have someone who lives a ways away and they would like to take inner sensitivity, just go to our website, www.teachingoftheinnerchrist.org, click on the Outreach Ministries, Outreach Online Ministries, and enroll. So if you would like to join that class, please feel free to do so. And we have upcoming in, well, we don't have a date for this one yet. I think it's going to be in November. And it's developing our spiritual gifts through chakra cleansing. And that will be given to us by a prayer therapist, inner Christ counselor, Elizabeth Yakubian. Now, Elizabeth is a yoga instructor, and she instructs in Pilates and all kinds of body work. So she's really well versed in this. So this will be fun. So look for that in your next bulletin. And then on October 11th, we have collage design, and that's a joy shop. And what we're going to be doing between now and then is collecting all of these little things that look like they should have a good use, but we don't know what for. And what we're going to be doing is a little collage that looks kind of like this little flyer. And so what we'll be doing is we'll bring them all together, and then as we decide what we want to do, we'll pick out the ones that work for us, but the whole great big pile that everybody brings in. And then the things that speak to us that day, we'll put on this collage board. And that's going to be starting at 12:30, and that is October 11th. And the suggested donation is $25, and it includes some of the materials. Now, the lady who does this, his name is Jennifer Lonick. Anybody who knows Jennifer Lonick knows that this is going to be an outstanding, fun-filled time, because this is the lady who's outstanding and fun-filled. So I invite you to really seriously consider that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I think that's it for that. Now, we have a really, really great treat. We have a lady who's been with us for about a year now? About a year now. And she's just slid right in. She's just a wonderful lady. She's a lot of fun. She sings. She writes music. Today she's going to be singing How Great Thou Art for us. And please help me welcome Sarah Z. Welcome, Sarah.
O Lord my God,
the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, the power throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior, God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior, God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. When through the woods and forest glades I wander and hear the birds sing sweetly in the trees. When I look down from lofty mountain grandeur and hear the brook and feel the gentle breeze, then sings my soul, my Savior, God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior, God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. My Christ has come with shouts of acclamation. Now I am home and joy has filled my heart. And so I sing in love and adoration, and here proclaim, my God, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior, God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior, God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art.
Oh my. Excuse me, Vinegar. Thank you.
Just a Kleenex.
Next. Thank you, Sarah. That was wonderful. That was wonderful. Well, our inspirational reading comes from one of our love scriptures, the big book Jesus Loves, or Jesus Love, on page 59. Actually, 58. I am one with all in this universe. I am you, and I am not better than you, but I am you, and all of you, and I feel your troubles, and they are mine. How could they not be mine? We are not separate people, nor are you separate from anyone. You are all one, the high and the low. Learn to love this way, and you yourself shall never know storm that you cannot be sheltered from. For in the midst of all darkness you shall know light and peace. As you do not separate yourself from any other person, this is the final knowing of God. that you should know yourself to be one with every person, that you should feel your joy and know his sorrow. Love this way. This is the true shelter for the lambs of my flock. Thank you, beloved children. Thank you, Jesus. And our speaker this morning epitomizes the oneness with all life. She truly does. She is a grandmother, she is a mother, she is a teacher, she is a minister, she is these things and many more. She is filled with the love and the unity of oneness. And when she starts to speak, you'll feel it within yourself. You'll feel your oneness with her. Please help me welcome, speaking to us on Walking with the Oneness of Being, Reverend Elizabeth Brabant.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Get everything out here. We have such wonderful titles and such wonderful talks that we could give here at the Teaching of the Inner Christ. And walking with the oneness of being is a wonderful title when you think about it, because what it's all about, it is about walking with God, moving forward in our life with God. And we are blessed by this walk that we take with God each day. Can you hear me with the mic right here? It's not very loud.
It's not loud.
It's nice.
Is that better?
Yeah.
She's going to turn it up a little bit. I can talk louder, but with the mic, sometimes I hesitate to do that. At any rate, we are blessed with our oneness with God. And when we know that we are walking with God in every aspect of our life, we feel that blessing from the top of our head down to the tip of our toes. And it's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. And this morning, I want to talk a little bit about the transformation that happens when we walk with God. And sometimes it happens to us and sometimes it happens to others, because God, channels through us all the time. Always. And we learn something very valuable. We learn, as we're one with God, to trust God always. God can always be trusted. So that's kind of a little overview of what I'm going to talk about this morning. With God's oneness, we are able to have ideas in our head of oneness and unity all the time. We just keep that oneness and we are fed. We're fed what to say, what to do, where to go. Just being one with our divine nature, with the Christ within us. And our God presence always feeds us aliveness and love, peace, all of the wonderful perfection of God. And I think of this whenever I can. I read it somewhere that we, you and I, and everyone out there, we are the hands and feet, the eyes and ears, the voice and the heart of God. Wherever we go, this is the way God expresses here on the earth, is through us. And God inspires us as He, she walks with us, wherever we are. And I'd like to read you a very short little story about Leo Tolstoy. It comes from this book, The Quest, by Richard and Mary Alice Chafola. Not a small book, but it has a lot in it. A beggar stopped Leo Tolstoy while he was out for his evening stroll. The great author, perceiving that the man was very hungry, groped through his pockets for some money to give him, but found not a single cent. Tolstoy was distraught at his inability to help the man. He took the beggar's worn and dirty hands in his, lamenting, "Forgive me, brother. I have nothing with me to give you." The pale, tired face of the beggar lit up. "Oh, but you have just given me a great gift." He smiled. "You called me brother." So there is a unique way that each one of us is with God. And we're different and we are the same. But Leo Tolstoy acknowledged in this man, the beggar, their likeness. They were alike in many ways, just by holding his hand and saying to him how sorry he was that he couldn't give anything to him, but calling him brother. The beggar knew that he felt his likeness, he felt his oneness with this man. And that was probably a greater gift than any change or money he might have found in his pocket. It was a great gift to the beggar. So we all, in a sense, walk with the oneness of being wherever we go, because we're walking with God, and God is always there. And if we can't find God, to the left wasn't God, it was our own inability to recognize this oneness with God. And so we do each day, or I do, and I know most of us do, contact that center of divinity within us, which is God, our Christ self, our I am self. This makes all the difference in the world. As long as we're doing that, we're going to see life transforming itself all around us. We see it in ourselves, we see it in our world, and we see it in other people. This morning, I'd like to share with you a time that I saw it in a little 5-year-old boy. As most of you know, that most of my teaching career was spent teaching kindergarten. And it's a wonderful grade to teach because they are so enthusiastic, most of them, about learning. Well, this little guy wanted to talk most of the time, and he didn't pay a whole lot of attention to what was going on, it seemed to me. Well, I gave him a special little desk off to the side where he could pay better attention and the others would not be disturbed. Well, one of the days, I was looking at him and looking at the class, and they were working at their tables. So I walked over to this little guy, his name was Danny, and I said to him, Danny, I would like to have you come back and be able to sit with the group. Because, you're very smart and you have good things to share all the time. Danny said, "No, I'm not. I'm dumb." "You're dumb?" "No, Danny, no, you're smart. I know you're smart because when we check you to see what you've learned a lot. Even though at times I don't think you're listening, but somehow you are learning. You must be smart. And I know that you are. And he just shook his head. No, I'm dumb. My dad says I'll never amount to anything. How sad. And I said to him, well, Danny, you know, your dad isn't here. He can't see everything that you've learned so far this year. And he may not realize how smart you really are. But I know that you are very smart. And I know that you can make a difference too. I said, there's something I'd like you to say with me. I said, let's go back in the other room for a minute. We had a little room off of the main classrooms. These were all open classrooms, but we had a few rooms in the back where we could work individually with children, or they could paint different things. So I took him back there. There was no one in there that particular day. And I said, I want you to say, I'm smart. I can do anything I want to do. So he just, he didn't look like he was very happy. No, I'm not, he kept saying. I said, well, just try it. I'll say it with you. We'll say it together. I'm smart. I can be anything I want to be. Now, let's try it together. You say it with me. Just try it out. You don't have to believe it right now. So we said, I'm smart. I can be anything I want to be. And we said it about 3 times together. He looked a little better, but he still, you know, for a long time he'd heard those other words, you're dumb. You'll never amount to anything. So I said, I want to make a little agreement with you. I said, when I come over, walk by your desk, if I bend over, I brought this for a reason. If I bend over, I want you to whisper to me, I'm smart. I can be anything I want to be. Well, he said, okay. He still was not really believing. So anyway, for a while, I'd say another 3 weeks or so, he was sitting in that same seat. And when I was walking around, when the kids were working and I was not speaking to them, you know, I'd walk over and I'd bend over and you know, he'd look at me and, okay, I'm smart, I can be anything I want to be. Well, every time I went by him and every time he said that, it sounded a little bit more like he was beginning to believe it. And another thing I did, as the children left every day, I would sit down on a desk right by the door because a lot of them wanted to give me a hug. Well, I was kind of big compared to where they were, so I'd sit down on the desk actually, and they'd come, and they didn't have to. If they wanted to just walk right on by, they could. And Danny was one of those that walked right on by, but then they could, you know, come give me a hug to say goodbye. So that was our routine as they were leaving. And Danny had never stopped to give me a hug, which was okay. You know, it was all right. A lot of the boys, not as many of the boys as girls, stopped. Who knows why? You can think about that. But at any rate, one day Danny stopped and he gave me a hug. And he said to me, I'm smart. I can be anything I want to be. And someone heard him say it. I think it was one of the girls. I don't remember for sure now. We're talking about probably, gosh, I've been retired for I've been retired since the year 2000. So at any rate, and this was like 10 years before that, it's been a while. And anyway, this little girl said, I'd like to say that too. So we got so, since others had heard it, oh, that's a good thing for all of us to say. I'm smart. I can be anything I want to be. I'm smart. I can be anything I want to be. And so we started all saying it before we left, and before they went home every day. But still, Danny would sometimes he'd stop and give me a hug. So that was his new routine. And it was amazing because by the end of the year, he was, in fact, only after 3 weeks, he was sitting back with the group, both at the tables, and we had a little spot on the rug, a little bigger than this one up here in front, where all of the children came up and sat down when we'd read stories or sing songs, things that would be good for them to be a little closer. And so he, you could just tell that his whole idea about himself, his feelings about himself had changed. He wasn't feeling dumb anymore. And he was back with the group and he was sharing, and he got to stay with the group because he seemed to be more interested in learning. And he did learn a lot that year. And at the end of the year, we said goodbye, and he said, I'll come and see you next year, Miss Betty. They always called me Miss Betty rather than Mrs. Brabant. And I gave him permission to do that at the beginning of the year. At any rate, he did. He came back, and he'd say his little saying to me, I'm smart, I can be anything I want to be. And I told his other teachers about that too. And of course now the other kids were saying it as well as him. And I found out in first grade and second grade that he did very well. Because now he knew he was smart, and he knew there was a good reason to listen because he could be anything he wanted to be. And, I mean, he wasn't perfect. Sure, he messed up occasionally, like we all do once in a while. But it had helped so much, just this change in idea of his. And so in first grade and second grade, I had talked to his teachers, and they said he was doing fine. And then by third grade, he, I guess, was doing fine at the beginning of the year, but after a month or so, he moved away. So I kind of lost track of him after that. I'm not sure where he moved even. But it was wonderful to see that transformation of a little guy who was 5 years, he was about maybe 6 by the end of the year. But, and it did as much good for me as it did for him, probably to see him that way. And then to see the other kids catch on and want to do it with him. It was a very helpful thing for everybody to say. Now I need to find my place. Okay. Well, we also, through our oneness with God and our walking hand in hand with God's Spirit, learn to trust God completely. And trusting God, we know that He always has for us the perfect solution to any seeming problem or any situation that seems a problem to us. There are no problems with God. And He is never, she is never separate from his or her creation. That means us, that means all the animals, everyone. God is always one with His creation. There is no separation. And we can trust God, and we have something that we need to do in order to trust God. We need to make sure that we are always walking in alignment with the truth of God, that we walk hand in hand, and because He will always reveal to us the perfect right thing in our life to do. always, as long as we begin to live with him in oneness and know that we can trust God always. Well, there's one thing that I forgot to, it's down here to read, and I didn't read it. It's one of the things that has to do with the Danny situation. Let me read it to you because I think it's something you could probably memorize. In fact, I'll try to type it up for you and hand it out if anybody wants it. It's very short. It's a poem by Emily Dickinson, and it is, "Some say, when a word is said, the word is dead. I say, it just begins to live that day." So whatever words we say to ourselves, whether it's, I'm smart, I can do anything I want to be, or I can be anything I want to be, whether it's, I will do well at whatever I do, I will sing this song perfectly, play the piano perfectly, I will, whatever you think of the things that you need to do in your life. And I didn't want to leave that out because I will get it typed up for you, and then if someone wants it, they can memorize it easily. Just 2 lines, that's all it is. So, in our oneness with God, we know that God is always there for us. That we can trust God, that God can actually transform us in every way, and that we can listen to the ideas of unity and oneness with God as long as we are open to it and ask. God is always there for us and always guiding, directing, and loving us. There is no end to God's love, to God's wisdom, to everything that God can teach us. So thank you, wonderful God, that we are one with God right here, right now, and always. So it is.
Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. And now, also in your package, there was an envelope. If you'd like to stuff it full of money, that would be great.
I have extra money.
And we can, it's time for the offerings of tithes and gifts. So if the usher would please come forward. Let us say together the blessing of the offering. We can hold it in our hands and bless it. Together. I know God is the abundance of all good, and I thank God that I am guided to send along my love and this donation now. Thank you, Lord. We can sing Lord, I Do Give Thee Thanks on page 74.
All that we ask for you receive.
this offering, we know that it goes forth to take the teaching of the Antichrist to all corners of the earth. We know that this takes care of our daily expenses and keeps us going, keeps us solid. We give thanks, and we know that each person who gives is also blessed, the giver and the receiver. And so we give thanks. And so it is, so we let it be.
Mm-hmm.
And so now if you'd like to take out your prayer treatment, you can hold it in your hand, hold it in your heart. And so we can know that this is a prayer treatment for all of us here for the fulfillment of our heart's true desires. And so we know that God is the source of all. God is the creator of all good. God is all-powerful. God is omnipresent. God is divine love. And God expresses itself through all creation. And we know that we are one with God, the source of all. We are one with the creator of all good. We are one with all power. We are one with God's omnipresence. We are one with God's divine love. We are one with God as all creation. And so we claim right here and right now for all of us the fulfillment of our heart's true desires. And we accept right now for all of us the fulfillment of our heart's true desires as God's desires for us, working through us now. All error thoughts, fears, our false appearances are now healed, forgiven, released, and let go. And in the vacuum they leave is the fulfillment of these heart's true desires made manifest. And so we are thankful for the fulfillment of all of our heart's true desires manifesting right now, trusting completely in the universal law of attraction to respond. We release, let go, and let the God within us do the rest. Thank you, wonderful God in us. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. So, we had another chance to listen to Sarah Z, and she's going to be joined by Ann Dalamo. They're singing the God chant. This will take us into meditation, so let's give them a rounding hand of applause right now. And we'll remain quiet after.
The Christ in me greets the Christ in each and every one of you. Love and light of God surround and fill me now. Love and light of God surround and fill me now. Love and light of God surround and fills me now. Love and light of God surrounds and fills me now. The cosmic flame fills every cell. 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 I am thee and thou art me.
Please join me for the meditation. And let's just imagine that we are right now surrounded by the divine light and love of God. Throughout this meditation, we feel our oneness with God. So we let go of outer awareness right now. And we send God's love and peace to our physical body. Let's take a gentle breath in of that love and peace. Breathe in and out. And as we fill ourselves with the love and the peace of God, we relax completely. And we turn our attention to our conscious mind for a few moments, and we fill it also with love and with peace. We set it aside for now. We'll return later to all of those thoughts. And moving deeper still into the subconscious mind, we bring our oneness with God's love and peace. Just relaxing that subconscious mind for now, filling it with love and peace. And moving deeper still within to the divine center, the Christ self, the I am self, God within. We know our perfect oneness, and we listen for God's special message for us today. And we are quiet and accepting of this message. As we return from within, we bring with us the oneness, the love, and the peace. And let's take 3 deep breaths, and we'll be coming back. And the first breath is a breath of oneness. Breathe in and breathe out. And the next breath is a breath of perfect peace. Breathe in and breathe out. And the last breath during this meditation will be one of love throughout our whole being. Breathe in love and breathe out. And come all the way back and move around a little bit. Make sure that your body's waking up, and when you're ready, open your eyes. And let's say, I am awake.
I'm awake.
I am aware.
I'm aware.
And I am in control.
I am in control.
That's our I am self.
You're gonna sign it, right?
Okay, so now we get to say our affirmation for the coming week. Would we like to say it together?
Yeah, see it.
Okay, so on page 10, together, I lift my awareness to the holiness and sacredness of all life.
All right.
That's in us and everything. Yes, indeed. Well, this Wednesday, Being God Aware is going to be led by Reverend Richard Musel, and that's the Faith Lift starting at 6:30. We invite you all to come. We know that Richard will do something really wonderful. And we give thanks for Richard, for sure. We also give thanks for Kathy Turpak, our wonderful usher. Oops, where'd she go? Guess she's in the other room, I guess, getting ready for something nice for us to snack on later. I give thanks for Elizabeth Brabant, our wonderful speaker today. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Our wonderful musicians, Ann Delamo and Sarah Z. And it's been my pleasure to serve as your leader today. And so, let's see. I guess now it's time, if you so choose, to stand. We'll make a circle and we'll sing our song.
Love is the only way.
that we walk with God in oneness and our lives are transformed.
Thank you, God.
Thank you, God.
I am smart and I can do anything.
Sail before you fall right off the edge.
Like